Vancouver Whitecaps are a very strong team. Valor FC giving them a run for their money here tonight. 2-2 your final in Winnipeg. Home fans happy about this one. Valor players should be pleased as well with the performance, something we're going to break down a little bit more here as we welcome everyone back inside our One Soccer studio. Andy Petrullo,
take that 2-2.
Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson. We clearly know how Wheels feels, but here's the thing. I'm going to start with Jordan. Because when it came to our way too early predictions of how we felt the CPL season was going to end, Valor, by the way, is the only original CPL side that has yet to make the playoffs. You put them in a playoff position. Is it because you saw this in them, Jordan?
This is what I wanted to see. This is what we needed to see. The people that want Valor to succeed, this is it. Heart, grit, a little bit of spice. Figueiredo, my man, take a bow. Tonight you were exceptional. But a team that dug deep responded. Yes, Andy Petrullo. I don't want to get too excited because there's a 2-2 draw, but if they can play like this...
Let's relax. Do you know who doesn't look excited? These players here. Look at their reactions. This, and I don't think it's any stretch of exaggeration here. This is the biggest result in club history, and the team looks incredibly disappointed because they know that they had the best team in Major League Soccer on the ropes here tonight. In a game where the Whitecaps and Jesper Sorensen, he didn't want to have to play Brian White. He didn't want to have to play Renko Veselinovic, Ali Ahmed, Sebastian Berhalter, but he did. And let's be honest, the second goal that the Whitecaps scored was a little bit of a gift. They were in tough tonight against the Valor side, and I think that that is the reaction or the lack thereof of Valor, is they know that they should have won this game.
Well, this is
they're not the better team here, but they were in position to win this game, and they let it slip.
But this is where they are right now, Andy. Lightning in a bottle. You look at the goals that they scored. They worked really hard for. The 2 goals that were let in, defensive errors, specifically set pieces, where they just need to be better, need to be organized, make sure that they take care of situations. And this is where this team is right now. They have moments, and sometimes you look at them, you're like, there's potential. But then these just unforced errors where they fall asleep too often. They need to wake up. If they can do that, they'll compete, man.
It's crazy. I feel like we're more excited the fact that they're making this a tie than the players on the field. Like, those were disappointing.
Well, because they had the lead.
They're exhausted, too.
Yes, sure.
They're exhausted, too. But, look, this wasn't the script that the Whitecaps wanted. I mean, this was their 23rd game in 3 months for the Whitecaps. It's the incremental hits that play didn't go to script, and this is what the concern is with the Whitecaps. A lot of injuries, need to rest guys. That wasn't in the plan here for tonight.
Both teams probably with mixed emotions because you're right. The Vancouver Whitecaps are a very strong team, probably thought that they could handle this game quite easily, and then you have Valor who had the lead late. But the draw, and remember, said this earlier in the show, if you're just joining us now, the away goals rule, it does not apply here. So it doesn't matter that Vancouver scored 2 away from home. The fact that it ended 2-2, they're back at zeros when they go back for that second leg. Rocco Romeo got the tying goal for Valor, made it 1-1. Let's go pitch side. He's joined by Mackenzie Barwell.
Performance, I was just saying, I know you'd probably like to come away with 3 points instead of 1, but you know, this is the first time your team hosts an MLS side.
Fantastic. It's a real honor and pleasure to host an MLS team here in the city of Winnipeg, and seeing the turnout tonight was absolutely incredible. And to our supporters.
I think it was abundantly clear that your side really grew into this game, especially toward the end of the first half, and I wanted
Yeah, you know, I try to contribute on both ends of the field, and you know, I think it was a real confidence boost for the team, and you know, it's always a good feeling going into half, even or a goal up.
You'll go back into the CPL season before the second leg of this quarterfinal. What's after a result like this one?
We have all the belief. You know, getting a positive result at home against York last week, and playing arguably one of the best teams in North America, and getting a result at home, you know, it's something to be obviously proud of, but the job's not finished. We have to go back there second leg, and our focus is on to this season. We just take it game by game and see what happens.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, Rocco.
Thank you.
Well, he says they're feeling good, and why not, right? Coming off their first CPL win last week, then they carry that momentum here and get this draw against, as you mentioned, it's one of the best teams as well right now that we're seeing in Vancouver Whitecaps. But we thought it was going to be an onslaught because it was Vancouver who struck first, 6 minute, and we just thought, Wheels, oh no.
Atakubi! The goalkeeper's drawn out, but that's because there's poor defending. He's trying to recover. Perhaps as a goalkeeper, Jimenez should have stayed in his net. Good finish by Atakubi, goal number 2, and love the celly. Corner flags, this game took
they took a
toll
beating,
on the
man.
corner flags here tonight.
They respond, though. Great.
The Rock says, do you smell what Romeo is cooking?
Gets up early. Love this. Bomer tries to come out, tries to punch it. Rocco attacks that first, and again, the corner flag gets a KO.
Twardek was a pain in the you-know-what all night. This is the moment of the match. You feel for Bilal Hobouni here, just to limp off the field after this. But Bruno Figueiredo, what?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
That is hit so well. It's the first of 2 efforts from distance. This one, sweet as a peach. Bruno F. kind of reminds me of another guy, might play for Manchester United.
Not doing it.
Portuguese.
Let's let Figueiredo get his moment right here. We're not even going to talk about the other one.
Figueiredo? That's a technique.
It is. It was a hit, Wheels. I got you. You see Brian Wright? This is a situation where White would bury it. But Enes Hamadas comes out with a nice leg save. Beautiful, beautiful save.
Backup goalkeeper with York United last season, by the way.
Top player.
Big stop there, good potential. Kean Williams just got to clear the ball. Kind of slipped in Ali Ahmed too easy. That's a gift. Kean knows it. He's just returning from a long-term injury. Heavy touch, and you just got to stick him right there, and nope. Ali Ahmed, Canadian national team player, punishes that mistake. But look at this hit by Figueiredo. I mean, Valor were humming. They grew into this game. They actually had more shots than the Whitecaps in this game. And look at this hit. Boom! Like, Bomer doesn't move.
It dips right at the proper time, Wheels. Look at that. 2 yards about to go across the line. This is the angle right here. Oh! And you mentioned post out, but if that's 6 inches the other way, Figueiredo bags a brace.
Corner flags, goal posts, they saw a lot of action here tonight, right? The goal posts.
Everyone's getting hit.
Yeah, they were getting hit. The corner flags were just getting chopped down. My goodness. This either way, we thought, we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves, but there is a little bit of history here when it comes to Phil DeSantos and Vancouver.
Well,
so yes, a draw, good, but a victory, there's a reason why that would have been sweeter, Wheels.
Well, yeah, I think it meant a little bit more to Phil DeSantos, head coach of Valor, because him and his brother were the coaching staff. His brother was the head coach. Phil was the assistant coach with the Vancouver Whitecaps in the Canadian Championship back in 2021, August 26th. They ended up losing 4-3 at Pacific, and the very next day they were fired, cost them their job. So, you know, going up against the Whitecaps meant a little bit more for Phil DeSantos, and just couldn't get it across the line. He has a lot of reason to be encouraged. It seems like finally they're getting things right back on track. Still think they have some questions about the number 9 position, maybe a little bit of depth, but this is a good result. It's refreshing to hear Romeo say, we're already looking ahead to the second leg. How much of that might be sports cliche versus the reality of going to BC Place. 2 very different things, but something to remember about the Whitecaps. The fixtures, once again, are building up. The CONCACAF Champions Cup final on June 1st. Then they're going to have to deal with a number of their players missing through international duty. A bunch of them are going to be playing at the Gold Cup or with their respective nations over the month of June. So things are going to get more complicated for the Whitecaps as the season goes on. Meanwhile, Valor, they can just focus on their domestic play, and the Canadian Premier League might be a little bit straightforward than the very difficult path that the Vancouver Whitecaps are going to need to weave.
We can't mince words. For Valor going to BC Place, that is their cup final. There's so much that's going on with Vancouver Whitecaps and big moments that they got to play. But right now with 2-2, knowing that they scored 2 goals against one of the best teams in North America, as Rocco Romeo said, you have to feel good going into BC Place. It'll be a bigger pitch. It'll be a lot more work. But if you scored 2 goals, so you know that it's possible when you go and play there.
And bottle this energy up, right? Because second leg is July 9th. So it's a ways away. Bottle this energy up and remember it. But let's go back to Mackenzie Barwell, who is with the man who got the goal scoring going in this game.
Sam, you leave this first leg of the quarterfinal even with Valor FC. I think it was a little back and forth, and Valor definitely grew into this match, especially in the first half. How did you see it unfold from your perspective?
Yeah, it was a difficult game. We weren't up to the standard that we've set for ourselves this season, and Valor came out strong. They knew it was going to be a tough game for them, and full credit to them. They came out and made a difficult game, but it was nowhere near the representation of ourselves that we expect.
With both of Valor's goals, you could really feel the energy, not just from their team, but also from their crowd. What do you think it says about, the composure of your side to finish this game tied and score in the 80th minute?
Yeah, it's important not to let your emotions take control of you. We made sure to get ourselves back in the game and make sure we leave the tie open for when we come back to BC Place.
With the format of this competition, we know that we're only at the halfway mark for this quarterfinal round. What do you think the mindset is going into that second leg?
Yeah, I mean, we have to win the game. That's what we expect from ourselves. We know Valor is going to come to BC Place full of energy and charisma, and ultimately we just have to showcase ourselves on the field.
Thanks for your time. Best of luck in the second round.
Thank you very much.
All right, so here's a look at the full-time stats. These teams trading goals, ending 2-2. Big result for Valor, but you heard Sam Adekubi say it right there. It doesn't feel like Vancouver played up to the standard they know themselves to be able to play. So we'll see what they can do on July 9th, leg 2, 10 p.m. ET.
That's so far away.
Just put it in your
That
calendar.
is so
It's
far
about
away.
It's a month and a half. It's a month
So
and a half.
far away.
Yeah. So anyways, you know what...
How far is it?
Very, very far away.
Oh, man. Earlier, we had another Leg 1 quarterfinal match. It featured Forge and
Stop
CF
it.
Montreal. Fifth
Just stop
straight
it.
year they have faced each other in the Canadian Championship. We'll bring you those highlights next. Earlier, Forge was hosting CF Montreal. There were no shots on target in the first 45. Finally, saw some
burn.
action. It was in that second half. One goal, and it came off the boot of Brian Wright. Christian Jack caught up with him after the match.
Joined by the hero, Brian Wright. Brian, how good's that feel?
Yeah, it's a tremendous feeling. We talked about it before the game and what this competition means to us and how we really want to make a run. But obviously, we're not happy to just be in the competition, but we're trying to do something in the competition at the same time.
If you don't mind, let me make you the story a second, because I know it's been on your mind to try and get a big goal for this big club. What did it mean when the ball went to the back of the net?
Yeah, it was tremendous relief. Obviously, it's been a few games since I've scored, had a chance in the first half. But, just got to keep sticking with it. Teammates are behind me, coach staff's behind me, so it feels good to get a game winner today.
Can you take me between the first touch and the second touch and your thought process, knowing you had to get that head on it?
Yeah, I took a look over my shoulder. Nana clipped the ball well. It checked up well on the turf, and I saw Cyril coming out, so I tried to get a light touch around him. And I just so happened to get the head on and finish it.
Finally, what does it mean again to be able to take this club as a Canadian Premier League team to take an advantage into the quarterfinal against an MLS Goliath like this?
Yeah, it's massive. Obviously, Forge is a small club in terms of the history, in terms of the 7 years of the club. But at the same time, they've been making history every year. Obviously, they went on a run a little bit last year and got knocked out, but we're looking to try and do the same thing again this year.
Congratulations, Brian.
Cheers.
We highlighted Brian Wright in our pregame show, 2 goals only in the CPL season, saying that he needed to score. And he had a couple gaffes in that first half, right? I mean, there was one where he was offside. There was another one where the turn was a little bit off. But hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the goal that he did score, because that is the one that gives them the 1-0 win here today and that advantage in leg 1 before leg 2. What did you see?
Well, despite what KJ said, CF Montreal is not much of a Goliath. Well, maybe the reason that they fall.
Oh,
I mean, that team was bang average. And when you hear Donadell and Waterman post game talk about effort, when a team man for man is on level par as Forge, and this was the moment of quality in the game. This is an outstanding goal by Brian Wright. We've been waiting for Forge to get in behind the back line of this CF Montreal team. They played a lot underneath. Finally, they stretched the field, and this is just an absolute class
Is he
finish.
clicking his heels? Because I like that.
Yeah.
I like that goal celebration.
Wizard of Oz.
Okay, my mistake. It didn't come off the boot. It came off his head. But, I mean, this is something you were calling for.
No, the great touch. Look, and we said as well, we got to talk about CF Montreal. I think Waterman going to the right side, and I talked about the matchup with Craig. Finding that space to wheels his point really was the bread and butter for Forge. You see Mpoma, that is a great ball. He's not left-footed. Clips it perfectly. That is a confidence booster for Brian Wright, and honestly a way forward for Forge moving forward.
Forge are a solid team. They play within themselves. Their identity under Bobby Smirniotis is well established. We've been saying this all season long. Brian Wright is the most important player for Forge and their success or lack thereof this season. That's because last year when they had Kwesi Poku playing deep, getting in behind the back line, they were virtually unplayable in the Canadian Premier League. And once they lost Poku, everything came, you're playing the ball underneath. The fact that Wright scored that goal tonight, he's going to have to do that in the second leg as well. Last year in Montreal, in the 2-1 victory for Forge, Poku scored a very similar goal. Malcolm Duncan played the ball from right back over the top, and simply put, no one could catch Poku. Wright's goal was very similar to this by the fact that Montreal is going to try to press forward, expose the space in behind, and take full advantage. If Wright can do what Poku did last year, and he showed some of it tonight, Jordan, then Forge are going to be very difficult to beat come the second leg.
Yeah, and we said a pregame with Brian Wright. You're looking at a guy who's still trying to win over the fans. Everyone in this league and that watches the Canadian Premier League knows his quality, knows what he brings. But there's moments to step up for your club. Tonight was that moment for him. It didn't matter how he scored. He just needed to get on the boards and say, I'm that guy. I'm that number 9 that's going to show up. So he's feeling like the boss right now. Well-deserved. It's a good finish as well.
And with goal scorers, oftentimes when they don't really score a lot, they feel like it's never going to happen for them. And then all you need really is that one
moment.
And it just feels like now you can't stop scoring. And I'm sure Forge would like to see that from Brian Wright, and especially come July 9th.
That's a long way away.
How far is it away?
Long way away. Honestly, Montreal need every day between now and then to sort it out. They are bad.
Wasn't a good
They are really bad, honestly, and they're going to be the underdogs at home in the second leg.
And
if you didn't know, July 9th is kind of far away.
Very far.
This is a week where the leg 1 of quarterfinals are happening right now, the TELUS Canadian Championship. We're going to look ahead to tomorrow night where we're going to see some more action between Vancouver and Cavalry. Stay with us here on One Soccer.
Sort it out, Montreal. Get it together.
Tomorrow, more Can Champ action for you, 10 p.m. Eastern. You have Vancouver FC taking on Cavalry right here on One Soccer as we welcome you back. What are you expecting in this matchup here, Jordan?
I'm expecting the Eagles to fly and soar high, but Cavalry's winning this one. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. You're giving a prediction?
Vancouver has been on the ascendancy. Difficult 2-0 loss to the weekend at Halifax. I don't think that this is an easy matchup whatsoever for Cavalry.
All right. Well, CPL sides looking good against MLS sides here tonight. Forge defeating CF Montréal 1-0. Valor tying the best team in MLS right now, Vancouver Whitecaps 2-2.
Forge have never lost to an MLS club in 90 minutes in this tournament.
Pretty impressive.
Ridiculous.
Great action, and we were happy to have you along for the ride. Leg 1 tonight of the TELUS Canadian Championship quarterfinal in the books. We have more action tomorrow. On behalf of everyone here at One Soccer, I'm Manny Petrillo. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bruno!